Welcome back. Today, we're talking about something that affects nearly every American in some way: Social Security. Whether you're currently collecting benefits, expecting them soon, or just planning ahead, the changes happening in 2025 under President Trump's new term could directly impact you or someone you care about. And here's something you might not have heard yet. Within just the first 100 days of Trump's second term, the Social Security Administration has undergone more change than it has in decades. And these aren't minor adjustments. We're talking about sweeping reforms led by a newly formed government group called DOGE, with Elon Musk playing a significant role behind the scenes. Depending on who you ask, these changes are either long overdue improvements or risky shifts that could weaken a program relied on by 70 million people every month. If you've been wondering what's really going on, what these reforms mean for your benefits, and whether your future income is secure, this is the kind of information you need to stay ahead of. The most noticeable shift started with leadership changes. President Trump brought in a team with a stated focus on government efficiency. Partnering with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, a new federal agency created to root out what they describe as waste. The name might sound playful, but the impact has been anything but. Backed in part by Elon Musk, this group immediately pushed for major changes. One of the first actions they took was to modernize how Social Security operates day to day. This modernization included integrating artificial intelligence into call centers, launching a system called PI that automates how employers report income to the SSA, and upgrading the hearing and appeal system with software that records and transcribes disability hearings. These upgrades were promoted as improvements. According to the SSA, the updates are projected to save around $1 billion in operating costs and speed up decisions on disability claims. Under a new law called the Social Security Fairness Act, the agency has even paid out nearly $15 billion in retroactive benefits. While some of these moves sound like wins, they've sparked serious concerns. Privacy has emerged as a major issue. A recent court ruling halted DOGE engineers from accessing sensitive Social Security data, such as banking information and medical records, because some engineers lacked the required security clearances. This kind of breach in protocol is rare. Normally, access to such data is tightly controlled. The court's intervention raised significant red flags. Critics argue that it's not just about data security. It's about whether this new outside agency has been given too much power too quickly. Staffing concerns have also been rising. Since January, over 3,000 SSA employees have retired or left, while around 2,000 others were reassigned to frontline roles. Supporters argue this is a smart move to get more personnel directly assisting the public. But insiders say the staffing changes have hurt service quality. Many field offices are now appointment only, but people continue to show up without appointments, especially seniors who may not be familiar with the new system. The result: long lines, mounting frustration, and less time allocated for each person. Some workers report being allowed only 10 minutes per visitor. That's often insufficient when someone needs to resolve a complex issue with their benefits or correct an even more alarming problem: being mistakenly marked as deceased. Yes, reports of individuals being wrongly listed as deceased have increased. Imagine logging into your bank account and discovering your Social Security direct deposit is gone because the system thinks you're no longer alive. While the SSA has a correction process, it's difficult to rebuild trust after such an error. Let's talk about the financial side. One of Trump's major campaign proposals was to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. For retirees, this sounds great. More money stays in your pocket, less goes back to the government. But policy experts warned that this move could worsen Social Security's financial stability in the long run. Here's why. Social Security already faces a funding shortfall. If nothing changes, the trust fund that helps pay benefits is projected to be depleted by 2034. After that, only about 79% of promised benefits could be paid out. Cutting taxes on benefits means less money flowing into the system, accelerating the shortfall. Some experts, including former SSA Commissioner Martin O'Malley, have suggested an alternative, removing the income cap. Currently, individuals pay Social Security taxes only on the first $176,100 of their earnings. This means high earners stop contributing partway through the year, while everyone else pays year-round. O'Malley argues that taxing all income, not just the first portion, could raise more than $3 trillion over the next decade, more than enough to keep the system solvent. However, this idea hasn't gained traction with the current administration. Instead, Trump's team has floated the idea of optional private investment accounts, allowing individuals to invest a portion of their Social Security contributions in the stock market. Some people love the idea of having more control over their money. Others worry it could turn a guaranteed benefit into a risky investment. After all, what happens if the market crashes right before you retire? There's also growing concern over how misinformation is being used to justify policy shifts. For example, one official suggested that only scammers would complain if Social Security checks stopped going out for a month. That's a troubling claim considering millions of Americans depend on those payments for essentials, like rent, food, and medicine. Another controversial statement came from Elon Musk, who claimed millions of dead people were still receiving Social Security payments. The SSA responded by clarifying that while some records may lack death dates, those individuals were not actually receiving payments. Even so, public trust can be eroded by such claims, regardless of their accuracy. So what does this all mean for you if you're currently receiving benefits? It means you need to stay vigilant, monitor your payments closely, double-check your status, and if anything seems off, like a delayed deposit or an unexpected notice, report it immediately. If you're still working, these changes could shape the retirement system you'll deal with in the future, from the PI system that affects how wages are reported to the possibility of managing private investments. These reforms don't just affect today's retirees, they affect tomorrow's too. Even if this feels distant to you personally, consider your parents, grandparents, or neighbors. When a program as large as Social Security undergoes major reforms, the ripple effects reach further than we expect. Staying informed, asking critical questions, and understanding the potential impacts is key. Beyond that, many experts recommend building additional financial safeguards. This could mean increasing contributions to a retirement account, creating a secondary income stream, or setting up a more adaptable budget to weather future changes. Finally, speaking up matters. If something about these reforms doesn't sit right with you, contact your local representatives. Share your concerns. Lawmakers need to hear directly from the people affected by these policies. The more real stories they receive, the harder it is to overlook the consequences of rushed or poorly implemented changes. If you or someone you know has experienced unusual issues with Social Security this year, like delayed payments, unexpected letters, or even positive experiences with the new systems, sharing those stories can help others navigate similar challenges. Staying connected and informed can make a real difference in protecting both individual benefits and the long-term future of social